Admiral Taewan stood tall on the bridge of the Eternal Glory. The massive ship was the pride of the galactic hegemony. From here, he could see the stars through the large glass window. 20 years had passed since they had defeated Earth. 20 years of peace for the hegemony and its 1,000 worlds. "Admiral, your daily report is ready," said Commander Kehoe, walking up with a small screen in his hands. Taewan took the screen and nodded. "Thank you, Commander." On the screen, he could see old footage of Earth's last battle. The humans had fought hard. They had shown courage. But courage alone was not enough against the hegemony's powerful ships and weapons. "Such a waste," Taewan said softly. "They could have joined us, become part of something greater." "Sir, the humans were too wild," Kehoe replied. "The Council of Seven made the right choice." Taewan wasn't so sure. Yes, humans were different. They fought among themselves, over silly things like land and resources. Their planet had many countries, each with its own rules and leaders. They were divided and messy, but they had also shown great promise. "Play the final moments again," Taewan ordered. The screen showed Earth's last stand. Their ships were much smaller than the hegemony's. Their weapons were weaker. But they fought with a fire that Taewan had never seen before. In the end, though, they lost. The hegemony put a special energy wall around Earth to keep the remaining humans trapped on their home planet. For 20 years, no signals had come from Earth. The energy wall blocked everything going in or out. The humans were as good as gone. Taewan handed the screen back to Kehoe. "The Council was pleased with our victory, but I wonder if we truly understood what we were fighting." Kehoe was about to answer when another officer ran onto the bridge. His face was pale and he was breathing hard. "Admiral, we have a problem," the officer said. "Calm down, Officer Jun. What is it?" Taewan asked. "3 of our outposts have gone dark, sir. All in the Perseus arm of the galaxy." Taewan frowned. "When did this happen?" "The first one went dark 5 days ago. The second, 3 days ago. And the third just 12 hours ago." Kehoe stepped forward. "Equipment failure or maybe space pirates?" Officer Jun shook his head. "No, sir. Before each outpost went dark, they sent the same message. Unknown ships approaching. Not in our database." Taewan felt a chill run down his back. "Show me the path of these attacks." A large map appeared on the main screen of the bridge. The 3 outposts formed a straight line. If the line continued, it would lead directly to the center of the hegemony, Taewan whispered. "Sir, it can't be the humans," Kehoe said. "They're trapped behind the energy wall. And even if some escaped before we put up the wall, they were too primitive to be a threat." Taewan wasn't convinced. Something about this felt wrong. "Send a message to all ships in that area. Tell them to be on high alert." "Yes, Admiral," Kehoe said, turning to relay the orders. Just then the main screen flickered. The map disappeared, replaced by the face of Counselor Do-hyun. Even through the screen, Taewan could see the fear in the counselor's eyes. "Admiral, Taewan, we have an emergency," Do-hyun said, his voice shaking slightly. "The monitoring station at the edge of the Sol system has been attacked." Taewan felt his heartbeat faster. "The Sol system? Earth system?" "Yes. Before the station was destroyed, it sent us images." Do-hyun's face disappeared, replaced by a video. The video showed the energy wall around Earth. The wall was still in place, still strong. But then, a strange thing happened. A short distance from the wall, space itself seemed to tear open. A black hole appeared where there had been nothing before. And from this hole, ships emerged. Black ships, sleek and deadly-looking. Ships unlike anything Taewan had ever seen. "These can't be human ships," Kehoe said, staring at the screen. "They're too advanced." The video showed more tiers in space opening. More black ships appearing. Then the video cut off. Do-hyun's face reappeared. "Admiral, our best scientists have confirmed it. These ships are using human technology, but far beyond what they had 20 years ago. It's as if they've made 100 years of progress." "That's impossible," Taewan said. Unless what, Admiral?" Do-hyun asked. Unless we didn't defeat all of them. Unless some escaped before we put up the wall. The bridge fell silent. The idea that humans had not only survived but had grown stronger was terrifying. "What are your orders, Counselor?" Taewon asked. "Gather the fleet, Admiral. All ships. The humans are heading toward Hegemony Prime. We must stop them. And if we can't?" Do-hyun's face grew grim. "Then the Hegemony, which has stood for 10,000 years, may fall." The screen went dark. Taewon turned to his crew, who were all looking at him with fear in their eyes. "Send the call," he ordered. "All ships to battle stations. We face a threat unlike any we've faced before." As his crew rushed to obey, Taewon looked back at the stars. Somewhere out there, the humans were coming. Humans who had somehow grown, more powerful than anyone thought possible. The Hegemony had believed they had written the final chapter in Earth's story. But they were wrong. The story was far from over. And from the looks of it, the next chapter would be written in the Hegemony's blood. "Sir," Kehoe said, interrupting his thoughts, "the fleet is responding, but it will take 3 days for all ships to arrive." "We may not have 3 days, Commander," Taewon replied, "but we will do what we can with what we have." As Taewon gave orders to prepare for battle, he couldn't help but think about the humans. They had seemed so primitive, so easy to defeat. But now they were back, with technology that shouldn't be possible. The Hegemony had made a mistake. They had believed their victory was complete. But it seemed the real war was just beginning. And deep in his heart, Admiral Taewon feared that this time, the Hegemony might not win. 5 years before the Hegemony attacked Earth, Commander Ji-eun sat in a small plain room deep under the mountains of what was once called Korea. Around her sat 12 people, the leaders of Earth's most powerful nations. Their meeting was secret. Not even their closest advisors knew about it. "The signals we've detected from deep space are clear," Ji-eun said. "There is an advanced alien empire out there, and they have noticed us." The room was quiet. On the table was a stack of papers showing strange ships that Earth's secret space telescopes had photographed. "How long do we have?" asked the leader from North America. 5 years, maybe less," Ji-eun answered. "Their ships are faster than anything we can build. Their weapons are beyond our understanding." "Then we are doomed," said another leader. Ji-eun shook her head. "Not if we act now. I have a plan." She pressed a button and a picture appeared on the wall. It showed a large ship, unlike the rockets that people knew about. "This is the horizon," she said. "The first of 12 ships we've been building in secret. Each can carry 10,000 people. Each has engines that can take them far from our solar system." "How is this possible?" someone asked. "The public space program is nowhere near this advanced." "Because the public space program is just for show," Ji-eun said. "The real work has been happening underground, using technology we've been developing for 50 years. She showed them more pictures. The inside of the ships with sleeping pods for the people, farms that could grow food, libraries with all of human knowledge. "We can't save everyone," Ji-eun said sadly. "But we can save enough to make sure humanity lives on. Each ship will go to a different star system. Each will start a new colony, hidden from the aliens." The leaders argued for hours. Some thought they should try to fight the aliens. Others wanted to try to talk to them. But in the end, they all agreed with Ji-eun's plan. "Who will go on these ships?" someone asked. "The best minds from every field," Ji-eun answered. "Scientists, doctors, engineers, farmers, teachers, and ordinary people too from all walks of life. A fair mix from every nation." "And what about the rest of us?" Ji-eun looked at them with sad eyes. "We stay. We fight when they come. We buy time for the last ships to escape." 20 years later, Commander Ji-eun, now with gray hair and a scar across her face, stood on a hill on the planet they called Nova Terra. The sky was a different color than Earth's, more purple than blue. But the air was good, and the land was fertile. Behind her was a city, not as big as the cities on Earth had been, but growing. The buildings were a mix of styles from all Earth cultures, but with new touches inspired by this new world. A young assistant ran up the hill. "Commander, they're ready for you." Ji-yun nodded and followed him down to a large building in the center of the city. Inside, a round room was filled with people seated in a circle. Each person represented one of the 12 human colonies that had been established over the past 25 years. Ji-yun walked to the middle of the circle. All eyes were on her. "Thank you for coming," she said. "Today marks 20 years since the fall of Earth." A moment of silence filled the room. Everyone had lost someone back on Earth. "But today is not just for remembering," Ji-yun continued. "Today, we decide our future." She pressed a button, and a map appeared in the air above them. It showed their 12 colony worlds spread across this arm of the galaxy. It also showed the much larger territory of the hegemony. For 20 years we've hidden, we've built, we've learned. We've grown from 40,000 colonists to over 2 million humans spread across 12 worlds. She touched another button. The map changed to show something new: shipyards in orbit around several of the colony worlds. We've studied the technology we brought from Earth. We've learned from the pieces of hegemony technology we managed to salvage. And we've created something new. A new image appeared. A sleek black ship, unlike anything they had built before. "This is the Defiance," Ji-yun said. "The first of our new fleet. It's faster than anything the hegemony has. Its weapons are stronger. But most importantly, it has this." The image zoomed in on part of the ship. "The Nexus drive," she explained. "It doesn't just move through space like normal ships. It creates a temporary hole in space, a wormhole, and passes through it. This lets it appear anywhere, without warning." Murmurs filled the room. This was beyond what many of them thought possible. "We have built 100 of these ships," Ji-yun said, "with more coming each month. And now we face a choice." She looked around the room, meeting each person's eyes. "We can stay hidden, continue to build our colonies. Maybe in another 100 years we'll be strong enough that the hegemony couldn't defeat us even if they found us." She paused. "Or we can act now. We can strike back. We can free Earth." The room erupted in loud talks. Some colony leaders shouted that it was too risky. Others said they had a duty to free those left on Earth. A man named Han Jin, the leader of the Proxima colony, stood up. "Commander, you've guided us well for 20 years, but how do we know Earth even needs freeing? The hegemony might have destroyed it completely." Ji-yun shook her head. "We've been monitoring from afar. Earth is still there. The hegemony didn't destroy it. They put an energy wall around it to keep humans trapped there. They're prisoners, on their own planet," another leader stood. "Even with these new ships, the hegemony has thousands of worlds, millions of ships. How can we win?" Ji-yun smiled for the first time. "Because we don't need to defeat their whole empire. We just need to show them the cost of fighting us would be too high." She pressed another button. A new set of images appeared, showing hegemony ships and bases. "For 5 years we've had small scout ships mapping their territory. We know where their main bases are. We know their patrol routes. We know which of their worlds are most important." The images changed to show a plan of attack, quick strikes at key locations, then disappearing before the hegemony could respond. "We hit them hard and fast. We destroy their ability to make war. We free Earth. And then we offer peace, but peace between equals, not master and slave." The room fell silent again. Then slowly, the leader of Proxima Colony stood. "I vote yes," he said. "It's time to show the hegemony that humanity is not defeated." One by one, the other leaders stood, some quickly, some slowly. But in the end, all 12 were on their feet. Ji-yun felt tears in her eyes but didn't let them fall. "Then it's decided. In 1 week, Operation Homecoming begins." As she left the building, Ji-yun looked up at the purple sky of Nova Terra. Somewhere, out there was Earth, the home she had left 20 years ago to ensure humanity's survival. "We're coming home," she whispered. "And the hegemony will learn that humanity doesn't die easily." The eternal glory limped through space. Once the pride of the hegemony fleet, the massive ship now showed ugly black marks where human weapons had hit it. 3 of its 6 engines were damaged. The great glass window on the bridge had cracked. and been covered with emergency metal plates. Admiral Taiwan stood on the bridge looking at the damage report on a screen. Of the 15 ships he had taken to meet the human attack, only 4 had survived, and even those, like his own ship, were badly hurt. "We will reach Hegemony Prime in 6 hours, Admiral," said Commander Kehoe. His uniform was torn, and a cut on his forehead had been quickly fixed with medical tape. "Good," Taiwan said. "The Council of 7 must hear what happened directly from us." Kehoe lowered his voice. "Sir, what will you tell them?" Taiwan looked around at his tired crew. Some were injured. All were scared. "The truth, Commander, that we face an enemy unlike any we have fought before." 6 hours later, Taiwan stood before the Council of 7 in the great meeting hall on Hegemony Prime. The 7 most powerful beings in the galaxy sat in a half-circle on tall chairs, looking down at him. "Tell us what happened, Admiral," said the head counselor. Do-hyun. Taiwan took a deep breath. "We engaged the human fleet at the edge sector as ordered. We had 15 ships. They had only 5 that we could see." He pressed a button on his wrist device and a 3D image appeared in the air. It showed the hegemony ships in a standard attack formation. "We moved to surround them," Taiwan continued. "Our sensors showed their ships were smaller than ours, with fewer weapons. We thought victory would be easy." The image changed, showing what happened next. The human ships seemed to disappear, then reappear behind the hegemony ships. "They have some kind of technology that lets them move instantly from one place to another," Taiwan explained. "Our weapons couldn't hit them because they were never where we aimed." The image showed the human ships firing strange weapons, not the energy beams that the hegemony used, but something that looked like small black holes. "Their weapons ignored our shields," Taiwan said. "They cut through our hulls like they weren't there." The council members looked at each other with worry on their faces. "How is this possible?" asked an older counselor named Hee-jun. 20 years ago, the humans were primitive. Their ships could barely leave their own solar system." Taiwan had been thinking about this. "I believe these may not be humans from Earth, Counselor. They may be humans who escaped before we put up the energy wall. Humans who have been hiding, learning, and growing stronger." Do-hyun leaned forward. "Our scientists have studied the images of their ships and weapons. They say the humans aren't just using better versions of our technology. They've created entirely new kinds of science that we don't understand." The council room grew quiet. The idea that any race could advance so quickly was frightening. Hee-jun, who had been on the council the longest, spoke sadly. "I think I understand. Our mistake now. When we first encountered humans, we saw that they were divided. Their planet had many countries, often fighting with each other. We thought this made them weak." He stood up and walked down to stand next to Taiwan. "But what if that division was actually their strength? What if having many different ways of thinking, many different cultures, helped them see problems from many angles? What if it made them adapt faster?" The other counselors murmured to each other. This was a new and uncomfortable idea. "And now," Hee-jun continued, "it seems they have united. They're no longer held back by their divisions. They've taken their greatest strength and removed their greatest weakness." A young officer ran into the room, bowed quickly to the council, and handed Taiwan a message. The admiral read it, and his face grew pale. "Counselors, I have just received word that human ships have been seen in 50 different star systems, all at the same time." "That's impossible," said one counselor. "Even with their new technology, they couldn't have built that many ships." "The reports say they're not attacking our main bases or planets," Taiwan continued. "They're hitting our control centers, our communication hubs, our supply lines. They're not trying to destroy our empire in one big battle. They're taking it apart, piece by piece." Do-hyun stood up. "We must gather all our forces, every ship, every soldier. We must—" He was interrupted by another messenger, who whispered something in his ear. Do-hyun's face showed shock. "It seems," he said slowly, "that the energy wall around Earth is failing." Everyone in the room froze. If the wall fell, and the humans on Earth joined the fight, "We have awakened a giant," Hee-jun said quietly. And for the first time in 10,000 years, the hegemony faces the real possibility of defeat. On the bridge of his ship, the Defiance, Captain Minsu watched the stars. His ship had just jumped through a nexus point, appearing deep in hegemony space. Their mission was to disable the main shipyard at Proxima Centauri, where the hegemony built their largest warships. "Captain, all systems are ready," said his second-in-command, a young woman named Hana. "The other ships are in position." Minsu nodded. His small fleet consisted of 5 ships from different human colonies. Each had its own strengths. His own ship was built for speed and stealth. Others were better at fighting or at protecting. The rest of the fleet. "Begin the attack," he ordered. Their plan worked perfectly at first. The Nexus drives let them appear right next to the shipyard's main power center. Their weapons, which the colonists called void cutters, sliced through the hegemony's defenses. But then something went wrong. A new kind of hegemony ship appeared, larger than any they had seen before, with strange devices on its hull. "Captain," Hana called out, "our Nexus drive isn't working. We can't create a stable wormhole." Minsu ran to her station and looked at the readings. "They've created some kind of field that disrupts the Nexus effect. We're trapped." For the first time since the human counterattack had begun, a colonial fleet was in real danger. The huge hegemony ship moved toward them, weapons charging. "All ships, conventional engines at full power," Minsu ordered. "We need to get out of range of whatever is blocking our Nexus drives." The human ships turned and raced away from the shipyard, but the new hegemony vessel was surprisingly fast. It followed them, keeping them within the field that blocked their special drives. "We can't outrun it," Hana said. "And our weapons don't seem to hurt it much." Minsu was about to order his ships to split up when the communications officer, Suwa, called out in surprise. "Captain, I'm receiving a transmission from Earth." Minsu turned to her in shock. "That's impossible. Nothing can get through the energy wall." "It's very weak and there's a lot of strange code mixed in with it," Suwa said. "But it's definitely coming from Earth." "Put it through to my station," Minsu ordered. He looked at the message. Most of it made no sense to him, but parts seemed to be instructions for modifying the Nexus drive. "Send this to engineering right now," he told Suwa, "and tell the other ships to do the same." 10 tense minutes passed as the engineers worked. The hegemony ship was getting closer, its weapons almost in range. "Captain, engineering says the modifications are ready, but they don't know if they'll work," Hana reported. "We have no choice," Minsu said. "All ships activate Nexus drives on my mark, 321 mark." For a moment nothing happened. Then, with a flash of light, a wormhole opened in space, different from the ones they usually created, with red edges instead of blue. The 5 human ships slipped through and the hole closed behind them. They had escaped. And they had learned something important. Earth was not as helpless as they had believed. 3 days after their narrow escape from the new hegemony weapon, Captain Minsu's ships reached the hidden base at Tau Ceti. The base was built inside a large asteroid, invisible to any ships passing by. Inside was a busy center of human activity, ships being repaired, supplies being moved, and people from all 12 colonies working together. Minsu was called to a meeting as soon as he arrived. He walked through the base's main tunnel until he reached a large room carved into the rock. Inside, Commander Jiun waited with the captains of several other fleets. "Captain Minsu," Jiun said, "we've been waiting for your report." Minsu told them about the attack on the shipyard and the new hegemony weapon that had blocked their Nexus drives. "If not for the transmission from Earth, we would have been captured or destroyed," he finished. The room was quiet for a moment. Then a captain from another fleet spoke up. "How could Earth send a transmission? The energy wall blocks all signals." Ji-un stepped forward. "That's what we need to talk about. Please, sit down, all of you." The fleet captains took seats around a large table. Ji-un touched a control, and a 3D image of Earth appeared, surrounded by the blue glow of the energy wall. "For 20 years we've believed Earth was trapped and helpless," Ji-un said. "We thought the people there were just trying to survive. We were wrong." She changed the image. Now it showed something under Earth's surface. Huge underground bases and factories. The energy wall the hegemony put around Earth kept people from leaving, but it also kept the hegemony from going in. Earth wasn't just a prison. It was also a safe place to work without the hegemony watching. Min-Su leaned forward. You mean Earth has been building things all this time? Under the ground? Ji-un nodded. When the hegemony attacked 20 years ago, they destroyed our cities and bases on the surface. But we had already built huge underground facilities, places where we could live and work that the hegemony couldn't see or reach. Another captain spoke up. But how do you know this? We haven't had contact with Earth since we left. That's not exactly true, Ji-un said. For years, Earth scientists have been studying the energy wall, looking for ways to send messages through it. 6 months ago, they succeeded. The messages are weak and can only carry small amounts of information, but they're enough. She looked at Min-Su. The transmission you received was the first time they've been able to send something more complex. They've been watching our battles with the hegemony. They saw you were in trouble and sent help. Min-Su's mind was racing. If Earth has been secretly rebuilding, and if they can now send messages through the wall, then maybe they can bring down the wall entirely. Ji-un finished for him. That's exactly what they're planning to do. She changed the image again. Now it showed a detailed plan with a date and time. In 3 days, Earth will lower the energy wall from the inside. And, when they do, this is what will come out. The image changed one more time, showing hundreds of ships rising from Earth's surface. Ships that looked more advanced than even the colony vessels. The captain stared in amazement. How is this possible? Someone asked. How could they build so many ships without resources from other worlds? You forget what Earth was like, Ji-un said. It had billions of people, huge factories, vast mines, and 20 years to work in secret. She looked around the table. Our colonies developed the Nexus drive, allowing us to travel instantly through space. But Earth has been perfecting it. Their version is immune to the hegemony's blocking technology. They've also developed better weapons, stronger shields, and things we haven't even imagined. Min-Su remembered something. The transmission that saved us, it changed how our Nexus drives worked. The wormholes had red edges instead of blue. Ji-un nodded. That's Earth's version of the technology, and now they're going to share it with all of us. She stood straight and looked at each captain in turn. We've done well so far. We've hit the hegemony hard, damaged their supply lines, freed some of their slave worlds. But in 3 days, the real battle begins. What's the plan? Min-Su asked. All our ships will gather near Earth. When the energy wall comes down, we'll join with Earth's fleet. Together, we'll head straight for Hegemony Prime. A direct attack on their home world? One captain asked, sounding worried. Is that wise? We're not going to destroy them, Ji-un said. That would make us no better than they are. We're going to force them to meet with us, to talk as equals, to build a better galaxy for everyone. The captains discussed the plan for hours, working out the details. When they finally finished, Min-Su stayed behind to talk to Ji-un. Commander, there's something I don't understand, he said. If Earth was secretly rebuilding all this time, why wait 20 years to break free? Why let the colonies fight first? Ji-un looked tired. 2 reasons. First, they needed time to learn about the energy wall. Second, they needed the hegemony to be distracted. She showed him a map of the galaxy with the hegemony's forces marked on it. Most of their ships were now chasing the colony fleets, away from Earth. If Earth had tried to break out on its own, the hegemony would have thrown everything they had at them. But now the hegemony's forces are spread thin. They're confused and afraid. When Earth joins the fight, it will be the final blow. Min-Su nodded slowly. So the colonies attacking first wasn't just because we were ready sooner. It was part of a bigger plan. Exactly, Ji-un said. Earth and the colonies working together, each playing a different part but heading toward the same goal. As Min-Su left to prepare his ships, he thought about what Ji-un had said. The hegemony had mistaken humanity's physical division for weakness. They never understood that humans were strongest when they worked together in different ways. The hour Colonies had developed new technology by mixing ideas from their diverse cultures. Earth had improved that technology with their vast resources and hidden factories. And now, all of humanity was about to reunite. Minsu smiled as he looked out at his ship. The name Defiance seemed more fitting than ever. In 3 days, the hegemony would learn the true strength of humanity, not just their advanced ships and weapons, but their ability to plan, to adapt, and to work together even when separated across the stars. The hegemony thought it was over, he said softly, to himself. They had no idea it was just beginning. The day had come. 1,000 human ships from the 12 colonies hovered in space near the energy wall that surrounded Earth. Captain Minsu's ship, the Defiance, was at the front of the fleet. From the bridge, he could see the blue glow of the wall that had kept Earth prisoner for 20 years. "All ships report ready, Captain," said Hana, his second in command. Minsu nodded. "Now we wait." On the main screen, Commander Ji-Eun's face appeared. She was on her own ship, the Nova Dawn, named after the colony world where humanity had rebuilt. "All fleet captains," she said. "The time has come. Earth has sent word that they will lower the wall in exactly 5 minutes. Be ready. The hegemony will surely detect what's happening and send ships." Minsu checked his ship's systems one last time. The engineers had updated all their Nexus drives with the information from Earth, making them immune to the hegemony's blocking technology. Their weapons were charged. Their shields were at full power. 3 minutes, Ji-Eun's voice said over the communication system. Minsu thought about his parents. They had been among the first colonists, leaving Earth before he was born. They had told him stories about the blue oceans and green forests of humanity's homeworld. He had never seen it except in pictures. Now he was about to help free it. 1 minute. Everyone on the bridge was silent, watching the energy wall. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like a curtain being slowly pulled aside, the blue glow began to fade. In one spot, then another, the wall disappeared. "The wall is down!" someone shouted. As the last of the blue glow vanished, they could see Earth clearly for the first time. The blue planet looked peaceful from space. But then something amazing happened. From the surface, ships began to rise. Hundreds of them, then thousands. They rose from hidden bases under the oceans, from underground hangars, from places the hegemony had never found. Earth's fleet was enormous, far larger than anyone had expected. The ships were sleek and black like the colony ships, but with subtle differences. They moved with incredible speed and grace. On the communication screen, a new face appeared. An older woman with dark skin and white hair. "This is Admiral Sung, of Earth Defense Force. It's good to see you, children of the colonies." Ji-Eun appeared on a split screen. "Admiral Sung, the colony fleets are at your command." The Admiral nodded. "Our sensors show hegemony ships approaching. They've detected the wall coming down. Are you ready to make history?" Before anyone could answer, alarm sounded throughout Minsu's ship. "Captain," Hana called out. "Massive energy," readings from the edge of the system. "The hegemony has arrived." On their sensors, they could see hundreds of hegemony ships led by a massive flagship. It could only be the Eternal Glory, Admiral Tae-Wan's ship. "All ships, prepare for battle," Admiral Sung ordered. "But remember our plan. We are not here to destroy, but to end this war once and for all." The combined fleets of Earth and the colonies moved as one, surrounding the approaching hegemony ships. Minsu watched as the hegemony fleet slowed, clearly shocked by the size of the human forces they faced. "They're sending a communication," said Suwa from her station. Admiral Tae-Wan's face appeared on the screen. He looked tired but determined. "Human forces, this is Admiral Tae-Wan of the Galactic Hegemony. You have proven yourselves worthy opponents, but this conflict must end. Surrender now and the hegemony will be merciful," Admiral Sung replied, her voice calm and strong. "Admiral Tae-Wan, this is Admiral Sung of Earth. You are right that this conflict must end, but not with our surrender." She sent data to the hegemony, ships, showing the full extent of the human fleet, their advanced technology, and the damage they could do. We could destroy your entire fleet right now, Sung continued. We could push on to Hegemony Prime and bring down your empire, but that is not our way. Min-Su watched as Taewan's expression changed. The Hegemony Admiral was realizing that he was not in a position to demand anything. What do you want? Taewan asked finally. Peace, Sung said simply, not as master and slave, but as equals. We ask that all hegemony forces withdraw from human space. We ask that you free all worlds you have enslaved. In return, we offer knowledge, trade, and friendship. Taewan was silent for a long moment. Then he said, I must consult with the council. You have 1 hour, Sung replied. The communication ended. Min-Su's ship remained at battle stations, ready for anything. Do you think they'll agree? Hana asked. They have no choice, Min-Su replied. They know we can win this war, but more importantly, I think some of them are starting to understand that their way isn't the only way, or even the best way. An hour later, Taewan's face appeared on the screen again. The Council of Seven has agreed to your terms, he said. We will withdraw from human space. We will begin the process of freeing the worlds under our control. But this will take time. Admiral Sung nodded. We understand. And we will help if you allow it. 3 months later, Min-Su stood in a large room on a space station built specially for this occasion. Around him were people from many different worlds, humans from Earth and the colonies, members of the hegemony, and representatives from the formerly enslaved planets. They were all there to sign the Stellar Concordat, a new agreement that would replace the hegemony with a federation of free worlds. Each planet would govern itself but work together on matters that affected everyone. Commander Ji-un, now serving as Earth's ambassador, signed the document first. Then Admiral Taewan, representing the former hegemony, added his signature. After the ceremony, Min-Su saw Ji-un and Taewan talking privately in a corner of the room. He walked over, curious. You could have destroyed us, Taewan was saying. Why didn't you? Because then we would have become you, Ji-un replied simply. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or even our ability to survive. It's our capacity to learn from mistakes, including those made by others. She gestured to the large window nearby. Outside, ships from dozens of different worlds worked together, building a massive ring-shaped structure. That will be the first Stargate, Ji-un explained. When it's finished, it will allow instant travel between star systems. No more need for powerful ships that only the wealthy can build. Every world will be connected equally. Taewan looked thoughtful. You're creating a galaxy where power is shared, not hoarded. Exactly, Ji-un said. The hegemony thought it was over when they defeated Earth. In a way, they were right. The old way of doing things is over, but what comes next will be better than what any one species could build alone. Min-Su looked out at the stars. For the first time in his life, the future wasn't about survival or war. It was about building something new. The hegemony had tried to end humanity's story. Instead, they had only ended its first chapter. Now, a new chapter was beginning, not just for humans, but for all the peoples of the galaxy. And this chapter would be written together.